Hello, welcome to Sirdork Live, another episode of Toy Art Spotlight, or Toy Artist Interview, however you'd like to say it. I can't really seem to decide. But thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'm seeing a ton of people in the chat. I see Fred and CJ, Anel is here, Linda is here, Das Looky is here. Not familiar with Das Looky. Well, thanks for being here. Val is here, Stubbs is here, Liz is here, Toy Immersion, Random Figs Pick 661 says yo ... That's a lot of dots next to that yo. But thank you guys all so much for being here. If you're watching live, thank you. If you're not watching live, thank you also. You guys are fantastic and wonderful, and thank you for being here. So it's going to be another great conversation with a fellow toy photographer from the community, and I have him right here, the man himself, Charlie Resolute Ronin. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for everything that you do. I'm really excited to chat with you tonight.
Thank you. Same here.
So tell us a little bit about you, about Charlie, and then also tell us a little bit about Resolute Ronin.
Not a whole lot to tell. 36, married, got a 2-year-old little girl now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I managed part stores, AutoZone and O'Reilly Auto Parts for about 10 years now. I work at an R&D facility for a fuel plant, making biofuel.
Wow, cool.
So, yeah, and then I work a pretty good shift. I get plenty of time to play around with toy photography. I started maybe end of last year, early this year. I made my first post, and just sat one day playing game on the computer and had a Halo statue of Master Chief on my desk and just picked up my phone and snapped a picture of it. I thought the lights from my computer looked cool on it. Posted it on my, my personal Instagram, not my toy photography, and somebody liked it. And I'm like, hey, that's weird. And like somebody I didn't even know. And so I kind of got to thinking, and a buddy of mine who's actually a comic book artist, he's all the time posting pictures of his figures, just doing random things with them. And so I just got to playing around with it, and here I am.
That's really cool. That's really that's like a different kind of origin story. You know, most of the time it'll be stumbling. I don't know. Like everyone's always got some kind of similarity with their origin stories with toy photography, but that's really different. So when you posted that, you just took a quick snap of one of your Halo statues while playing a game. And I
think I went into like the photo editor on just a Photos app on my iPhone and like played with the color a little bit, and then just posted it. Thought it was cool, and the account was actually, I don't know, I think the name of the account was the Jaws, and I was like, who is this? I don't know who that is, because it was weird to me that somebody I didn't know liked the picture that I posted on my account. So that's.
Did you put any hashtag on it, like toy photography or anything?
No, just
nothing.
Posted it. Yeah.
That's so weird. I wonder how it got out there. You think maybe
I don't know.
Instagram was just like
the
Instagram god was like, this needs
maybe
to
the
be
algorithm worked better back then.
Yeah, maybe it does. So no hashtags. That's it. Straight
No,
from himself,
yeah.
Charlie himself. Don't use any hashtags. It worked for you, at least for one person. So, hey, Bruley, how's it going, man? Um, so that's so cool. That's such a cool and different kind of. So after that, so you took the one picture, you noticed it. So how did it go from there? You discovered what toy photography was then, and then how'd it go from there?
Yeah, and I think I had actually a while back had already seen some pictures, and I was like scrolling through. I was like, oh, that's a cool picture. And I want to say it was like maybe Darth Vader or something. And then I got to looking closer, and I'm like, well, that's an action figure. That's not like a drawn picture. I was like, that's really cool. And then I always thought it was cool, and just never thought about it. And I did have an interest in photography, and I wanted to get into kind of scenic photography, so I already had a camera and everything. But I just never, I guess I never really figured out how to use it that well. And then this kind of drove me into learning how to use the camera better.
Cool.
And so I pulled it out one evening and dusted it off and pulled out a Deathstroke figure and a RGB light I had on my desk and started throwing different shades on it and taking pictures. Yeah.
Yep, that Deathstroke one's your first one. I was scrolling today and I saw that. That's awesome. So what camera is it that you're using?
It's a Canon, the EOS T7.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. That's
I'd really like to have the T8. The flip out display would be really nice taking some pictures, but cameras have gotten really expensive. The prices have gone up because that same camera, I think I paid like $300 for it brand new. It's like $500 now.
Yeah, it really has gone up a lot.
Yeah,
it really, really has. Yeah, when I made a while back, I made a video like all the things you need for toy photography, and that camera was on there. I was like, this is what I recommend because that's an amazing camera.
It's a great camera, yeah, and I don't really. There's nothing quality wise about the camera, like the pictures that it takes or anything that makes me want a new camera, just other than the display. I would like to have a display that would flip out.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge help. But when I made that video, I was like, yeah, I recommend this camera. It's probably around $300 or so. And then like sometime recently, somebody commented on it, and they're like, $300. That's like a $600 camera.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, oh, it was 300 when I made it. So yeah, just everything's going up, unfortunately.
It is. It's ridiculous.
I definitely know a lot of people have been getting, and a lot of people, which is really smart, they get cameras and stuff used or refurbished from eBay or something.
Yeah, look on Mercari. People selling stuff all the time. Yeah, I get a lot of my figures from Mercari too.
Yeah, Mercari is a great app for anyone watching. If you're ever looking just to buy stuff, use the Mercari app. And I'm pretty sure it's only a US. It's US only. I don't think it exists outside.
That makes sense.
But it's basically like eBay, but eBay's kind of grown into more than just what it used to be. eBay's like everything now. It's just buying anything. Brands have stuff on it. It's not just like pre-owned things anymore. Mercari is kind of what eBay used to be. And so it's quite awesome. I buy and sell on there a lot.
I've sold a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you can make offers. It's very easy. And Toy Immersion right there says, I got some nice dios on Mercari for a reasonable price. That's cool. I wouldn't think about finding dioramas on Mercari. And Bruley also said he got a figure from Mercari. Heck yeah. And, productive reviews. Anyone else going to ValleyCon? Productive reviews. I don't even know where ValleyCon is, but that sounds fun. And hopefully you find some other people that are going. I'm sure you will. Post about it. Yeah, have you had any good finds on Mercari recently?
Recently, I was kind of trying to get into Mezco figures, which I really like figures. But I guess the way I like to shoot photos, I'm terrified of messing up the soft goods, so I don't shoot them as much as I thought I would. But they're beautiful figures, so I bought several of those on there and got a few good deals. Some not so good deals, but they were just going for like the $20.99 Spider-Man. He was just
Yeah.
going for a higher price at that time.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, but so I yeah, mainly a lot of figure arts figures. So yeah, I bought a lot of Dragon Ball figures off of Mercari. So
Nice. Yeah. Um, and another thing that I do on there is like if I'm looking for something specific, I'll search for it and then I'll mark it as like I want this or whatever they do it.
yeah,
And then anytime a new thing gets listed, that falls into that tag like Dragon Ball figure arts, it'll tell me like a new thing is listed, so I can go and try to buy it before somebody else does.
yeah.
So
If you like something, you like it, a lot of times, like if the seller does a markdown or anything, it'll notify you, and you can
yes,
jump in and grab it.
yes, I have been looking for this Darth Maul Christmas ornament for years because I have this. It's a glass ornament of Darth Maul from the Clone Wars. It's so cool. I got it from Target years ago, and then a couple years later, my cats knocked down my Christmas tree, and that broke. And
No,
they're
not
always
cats.
really good. They never do that, and they broke it. So I've been waiting for that to pop up on Mercari for years, and it has not popped up yet at all. At least I haven't noticed. So that's cool. I'm glad that Mercari is helpful for you too. Really great for camera gear as well. I just bought a new lens actually. I bought a macro.
That's probably
lens.
going to be my next purchase.
Cool. What are you thinking?
I'm actually not sure. I'll probably get some tips maybe from the Discord on what
That's a great
what
idea.
to do. Yeah, right now I shoot with a 50 millimeter 1.8
Oh yeah.
mostly. So
That's
Yeah.
such the nifty 50. It's just good for everything. It's so awesome.
it is.
It really is great. Yeah, different. I'm still like, I'm definitely so far from being like an expert on lenses and what lenses do what and what feel like, and they're all so different from each other. And I'm only just starting to really understand what each thing about each lens really means. So yeah, that'll be a good conversation. Definitely go on YouTube, trying to figure out what kind of lens. Just go on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And just like look at like what kinds of lenses you're looking for, and then look at reviews, and it's so helpful. That's just what I do every time. CJ on Mercari, my name on Mercari is Sirdork 730. So, and I don't really have anything relevant on there right now, so don't buy. I mean, I do have some. I am selling some graded Pokemon cards right now, so if you want to buy any of those, go for it. But anyway, Charlie. So let's pull up your. So if you're not following Resolute Ronin, you got to be following him. You have to be following him. Not only because Charlie's a great dude. He posts a lot of just amazing stuff and just action-packed stuff. So he's at 821 followers right now, and I'm curious to see if that's gone up at all since I pulled this up. 824. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I see a lot of alerts popping up on my phone here.
That's great. I would love to see you get to 1,000 from this. That would be so.
Oh man,
cool.
yeah, I've been.
That would be so cool. So please do, everyone who's here watching, go and follow. Do two things. Go on your phone right now. Go and follow Resolute Ronin. Then come back to the video and like it. Like the video. Please, that would be great. But first, go follow at Resolute Ronin. And Carla Rios says Halo. Definitely some Halo people here from your thumbnail. So before I go any further into some of these awesome shots, where does the name Resolute Ronin come from? I'm just curious. It's just really cool.
It's kind of it just struck me very resolute in my virtues, my values, and then Ronin is at the time it meant something. It still does. It's Ronin is a samurai with no lord or master, which is not a reference to anything religious or anything like that. But just kind of felt right for me at the time.
Cool. Well, it's a great name, and it's very catchy. I mean, I mean, whether your Instagram name handle, however you want to call it, means anything or what, I think just have it being catchy and memorable is really important. I think it really is. Resolute Ronin, and that works really well. So, all right. So the one I'm gonna go right. There's so many fantastic shots here, but I'm going right to this shot here, which is I took to make the thumbnail, which is just absolutely beautiful. Like it's so vibrant, and all of the colors just really complement each other, like really, really nicely. And there's just like a little bit, just enough amount of like debris coming up that looks like he's running, and the sword looks great. Just like everything about this shot is just so awesome, so good.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. I was really excited to be able to pick that figure up. Caught it at GameStop on closeout, so I got it for like half off. It was a really good deal.
Right. This is the 1,000.
It was regular like $180 figure. Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah, this was like on sale.
Yeah, and then there's a red version too, which comes with a red saber and then like a brute shot, so a few different weapons. I wasn't able to get my hands on that one, but I was happy to pick this guy up.
Nice. He looks.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that picture. Thank you. The saber I had a lot of fun with. I used pretty much the same kind of technique like you've shown with the lightsabers and all, but underneath that I found some lightning brushes that I just kind of placed here and there through it to make it look just very faint underneath the effect, the saber effect, but to kind of help make it pop.
The effect looks fantastic, and sometimes
Thanks.
it's really hard to, at least in my opinion, sometimes it's really hard to make, like if you have a really bright background, like a really bright photo, and you're adding in an effect like this, it's really hard for it to make it pop because it just kind of gets washed out. And that's not the case at all in this.
Yeah.
This really works fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
And a lot of Halo love here. Random Figs is saying that he just did a Halo shot, and more shots said, "Hey, a fellow Halo toy photographer." That's so awesome. So I mean, I feel like you kind of owe a little bit to Halo, because that was kind of your gateway into toy photography, was your Master Chief statue that you had.
It was. Chief's one of my. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but the Chief's one of my favorite characters in fiction. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and he's really cool. So, and I like Halo, and I played almost every game. I played a lot of Halo Reach. That was my favorite. I played that game a lot. And then after that, I kind of fell off. But so I definitely do have a little bit of a soft spot for Halo as well.
If you ever want to tug at your heartstrings, just go to YouTube and watch all the death scenes from the Spartans on Reach. That gets me every time.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
So, it's a great game.
Let's see. Somebody in the live chat said, "Oops." Looks like Chief is on Sand Trap on that shot. Is Sand Trap is that a location in Halo?
Oh yeah. One of the maps.
Well, that's perfect. That that you were able to get a Halo fan to think that. But so the lighting is really cool. This looks like it's a really sunny day. But did you do any extra like highlighting in Photoshop or anything to get that like really awesome shine that he's got?
A little bit, yeah. I just used a dodge tool a little to kind of like really bring it out. But I started trying to shoot inside like some of my earlier shots, and I thought it would be better to be able to create my own lighting and manage that. Man, shooting outside, if you're able to, it's the trick. Every once in a while, I'll get caught to where I'm taking a little bit longer than I need to, and I'll have to pull out a light to kind of supplement. But the reflector that you referenced in one of your videos, and that sunlight is awesome. And I thought to begin with, shooting in the morning, shooting in the evening. There's different things you can do all throughout the day. Just different times of the day give different situations, and you
Definitely.
can do something at every minute of the day. Yes,
Definitely.
so
That's so cool.
it's outside lighting is great.
It's definitely like I'm the same way. Like I've completely um shooting outside has been my everything for since I've started, and that's how I did everything, and that's basically how I do everything is shooting outside. So I've become so, what's the word I'm looking for? Cultured. I've been so spoiled. I don't know, fostered
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
I guess.
sun, and I've become so dependent on it. So switching to indoors is very very difficult, and I have gotten a little bit better recently with indoor stuff, but yeah, nothing does it like the sun, and I'm totally the same way. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I'm very jealous of the snow though. We don't get any here in Georgia. I think it snowed like
Right.
maybe 4 times in my lifetime here.
Wow, I'm surprised
So
it
yeah,
snowed at
pretty
all.
jealous of that. Yeah, every once in a while, and it just shuts the state down when it does. So um, the the Sub-Zero shot you did with the icicles and everything, man, I think that's my favorite shot you ever done, and I'm so jealous that I'm not able to do anything like that.
Well, thank you, thanks, man. And
Yeah,
oh, Linda says I've been ingrained. That the sun has been ingrained into me. Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly.
yeah,
Um,
that's a good way to say it. Yeah,
and I will say the snow is cool for maybe the first like week or so, and then after that I'm like I'm all set.
yeah.
I'm done with this horrible freezing cold weather. I would like to go back to the warmth, please, right now. But it is quite fun to shoot with. That's for sure. Um, but like just for here, at least in New York, it's just like it just feels like it's never gonna end. It's just like okay, snow time. I guess I'll be shooting
Yeah.
Hoth themed photos for the next
I,
6 months.
I guess it would get old where I guess you can't switch it on and off. Yeah, it's like I'd really
Right,
like a nice sunny green day outside.
right.
Yeah,
And Bruley over here says can't wait for the snow, but then RJ Stubbs is like you can have our snow, Charlie. I'm right there with him. You can have our snow, man. You can have it. You can have it.
I wouldn't mind borrowing it every now and then.
Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe we can switch off. But speaking of shooting indoors, this shot right here, I'm assuming this was shot indoors.
It was.
So
And when I posted it, I meant to take a picture of my setup, which looks. It's really fun to me to start working on a picture and it turned into something that even I didn't see it turning into while I was doing it. Um, and a lot of times I'll start working on a picture and like this picture doesn't really look that great. I may not even continue with this, and I'll keep playing with it, sitting there in the recliner, messing with it, and it just starts turning into something that's really cool. And I think this is one of the favorite ones I've taken. Um,
yeah,
so the AEW wrestling ring is in the background. And I just picked it up one day. I said, I'll use this for something. I had a couple of Mortal Kombat Storm Collectibles figures and the Jin Cosma Storm Collectible figures. Like, I'll do something with those. And the lights in the background are actually a string of LEDs that, another thing I got from you. And the backdrop is just a black triboard.
oh nice.
Um, and I tried to bring out the LEDs to hang those far enough away. If you're not careful, it'll illuminate the backdrop, and I didn't want that. I wanted them to stand out and just
Right.
not reflect off of anything. Even though it is black, it'll still show a little bit of illumination. And to start out with, I just did like a smoke effect around the lights. And I was like, that looks cool. It'd be smoke effect in a wrestling ring. As he's coming out, or something. And then I found some flare brushes and started playing around with that. And I'll uh, give props to my wife. I bounced a lot of ideas off of her, and she got tired of answering questions with this shot. Now, what do you think about this one? What do you think about? I probably tried every brush in that folder before I finally settled on what I got here, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And I've actually toyed with it a little since I posted this, a little more with some of the like flare off of King's like shoulder there, where it looked like the light would really bounce off of him. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, I was really excited about this shot.
Yeah, this shot is beautiful. It's the lighting is fantastic, and it really does. It's very convincing. It looks like he's right next to the ring, outside of the ring, and these lights back here look so good, and just the lighting.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The idea behind the lights was, since I didn't have anything else, like no crowd behind him or anything, that the lights would be so bright that whoever was taking that picture, that it would, I guess, can't think of the word, that the lights would blind the camera to everything behind the ring, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind that. So
it totally worked. It totally works. And the lighting on, this is King from Tekken, right?
that's right.
Right. Okay. I was like, is that Tekken or is it one of the other? But no, I was right, because yeah, he's like the coolest character from those games.
Yeah.
But the lighting on him, he's got some really great rim lighting, like along his shoulder here, and basically his whole top. The whole top of him has this really awesome rim light, and so it really makes him pop. And it's really convincing that he's right there. He's in the thing. So
yeah, a lot of times my wife, I'll have to explain to her what's happening in the scene, but when I showed her this, I'm like, yeah, and that's a wrestler. She's like, yeah, I knew that. I was just making sure. I didn't know if he was a wrestler or what. I was like, okay, so she actually knew what was going on in this shot when I showed it to her. So that was pretty cool.
Great. That's actually a really smart thing to do, because whenever we are looking at our own photo, we know exactly what's happening. Like if we're trying to convey that, like, okay, this guy is right here doing this to this. Like, we know that because it's all our idea. We know that. So whenever I finish taking a photo and I just want to make sure the idea is getting across, I'll show it to my girlfriend and be like, hey babe, what's going on in this photo? And she'll be like, looks like he's doing this. I'm like, okay, good. Because that's what I want to happen. Because you need that kind of outside perspective with, like, because sometimes you take a photo and it doesn't quite look like it's supposed to look like to the outside mind, or because that happens to all of us. So it's really good to do exactly that, what you just did. So cool. Me too. I do the same thing.
Which, and kind of playing off of what you just said, yeah, a lot of times I'll take a picture and then when I'm editing, I'm like, this didn't turn out anything like I wanted it to. But as I keep playing with it, it turns into something even maybe better than the original idea. So don't give up on a shot immediately if you don't immediately like it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just be open to the fact that it might not be what you imagined it being, because it might be better. Who knows? Maybe your idea was not as good as this new idea. It's this new thing happening. Which
that's right.
It happens a lot, and that's always great. I mean, it's always awesome when you take a picture and it's exactly what you had in your head, and you're like, awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. But then if you take a picture and it's different, and it's like so awesome, you're like, oh, I'm not even mad that this isn't what I wanted. But
yeah, exactly.
Cool. So confidence level for shooting inside with lighting, I hope, has gone up, because this shot is super clean.
This shot did help out a lot, yeah.
And Mason Morris in the live chat says he's proud of you, cuz. Is Mason Morris your real cuz? Oh, right. Charlie Morris. Mason Morris.
Yeah, he's a cousin.
Thanks, Mason. Thanks for being here, my friend, and thanks for supporting.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Awesome. Anel, have a great night, my friend. And okay, so I just want to mention, we were talking about snow in the live chat. Bruley has made a really good point about the snow. He says, "Winter will be this will be his first winter doing toy photography. That's awesome." And then he says, "Can't wait, but yeah, I hate snow. It's horrible. I'm in the city, but it gets muddy and nasty." Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
After, like, in the spring when it all starts to melt, it's just literally like brown, just brown, sludgy mud everywhere. That's April for us, and some of May too. But hey, there's a lot of cool toy opportunities there as well.
Oh yeah.
I love your indoor and your outdoor stuff and all the action stuff going on, And there's like this shot is so cool. I love this, like him up against the thing, and the lighting looks so cool. And I really want to talk about your setups. And I'm definitely gonna talk about some of this other stuff. But where is the one that I was pulling up before? This is the one. So in this video, this is kind of you're on a tabletop.
Yeah.
Tabletop. You're outside, and that's I don't do a lot of tabletop stuff. I just go right on the ground, and so tabletop stuff is really cool because you I mean, you're not bending over like that, which is nice. But also, I like the fact that you're able to clip, like if you use wires, you can clip them on to the side of the table.
Yeah.
That's
and it helps me get
so smart.
Sometimes if I'm shooting on the ground, I'm not able to get exactly the angle I want. So that helps with that too.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge, and looks like it's a super big help. So I have a table like this that I might do also. And it looks like you made your own little light reflector here out of tin foil behind them. Is that what this is?
Yeah, that was before I was still waiting on my reflector from Amazon. I had bought a 50-cent plastic plate from Walmart and covered it with tin foil.
Oh, nice, a plastic plate. There you go. That's a great. If you don't have a light reflector, literally just tin foil around a plate. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I've been
and depending on how bright a light you want, like paper. I mean, anything white or anything reflective.
Right, literally just a plate. Just like a paper plate would be nice, soft. But I really like this whole tabletop setup and all these bricks and stuff around. And so as I was scrolling, just looking at your stuff, and here's the photo, I was kind of just in my head wondering what is his setups that he's usually using? Like what is it? So when I saw the video here, I was like, oh. There we go. And so what is that spray that you're spraying?
It's actually spray deodorant.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So don't use it inside because it'll kind of choke you to death. But and it will leave a residue on your fingers that you can wipe right off.
Okay.
It doesn't interact well with light. It actually makes a screen if you're not careful. But if you're don't overuse it, it does create kind of a good smoke effect.
Okay, interesting. All right, deodorant. I'm sure the figures smell really good afterwards.
Yeah.
Do they like permanently smell good like that after that?
No, once you kind of wipe them down, that goes away.
That goes away.
Yeah.
So Wally Hernandez in the live chat says, "You guys rock." Thanks, Wally. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And Mason says he's got to run, but no, Mason, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting your cousin.
Thanks, Mason.
Yeah. RJ Stubbs says, best smelling figures on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Trippin' with Toys says, you can get a 2x4 folding table on Amazon for around $40 to $60. That's not a bad price at all.
No, it's not. Yeah, you can get some tables relatively inexpensive. This was an old, like a patio table we had in our backyard, and we had a plastic. This is actually a pad for an AC unit that it's just really heavy. So it works out really well. I was able to just put it on top of the table and give me a larger surface to work on.
Awesome, cool. And so are the bricks and stuff, like, did you buy these for toy photo purposes, or these
are random? Yes, it's like some concrete, the cinder blocks we had laying around the house that I broke up. I did buy like some landscaping tiles from Lowe's and break those, and then some just random pieces I found, that I use for different sets.
They work for great pieces like this, like for this Wonder Woman shot, which is awesome, by the way. I'm assuming you use the same kind of bricks in the background. They work really well for just I don't know, like just any kind of just background piece. They work really great.
Yeah, I'm use the if you pay attention closely in my pictures, you'll see the same stuff used a lot. I just try to use it in different ways to mix it up.
I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Just using what you got and figuring out how to make it work for what you're shooting. Wally says deodorant, at least they smell good. Yeah, we all seem to have the same reaction when you said you use deodorant. I think that's a first for all of us to hear that. So Wally has a great question, and by the way, so anyone else who's here watching, if you have any questions for Charlie, just throw them in the live chat, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So he says, do you guys have an idea in your head when you go out to shoot, or do you just wing it? That's a good question.
Yeah, a lot of times I do. Like with the Goku and Frieza shot there, I just had an idea in my head of exact. It didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it, but I was at the time I was happy. There's a lot now that I see that I wish I'd have done a little bit differently, and I hope that it looks like I've improved since. But the King shot actually turned out really closely to what I was looking for. A lot of mine are just really, I'll just pick a figure up and start playing with it and posing it. And I'll just grab my camera up and go outside and take a shot. But a lot of times I do, sometimes I don't. And it seems like a lot of times the ones I don't have are some of my cooler shots that are, to me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm like a little bit of both. Like for the most part, pretty much what I always used to do was just grab a bunch of figures, go out somewhere, and then literally just wing it, like you said, Wally. But now more often I will be very idea based. I'll get these ideas stirring in my head for weeks and months, and then that's when I decide to go and execute and shoot that exact idea that I have. But I definitely think there's a huge joy of just going out there and setting up and winging it and just shooting while you're out somewhere. That's so much fun, just to figuring out stuff on a whim like that. I still do that quite often.
I think one of the funnest days I've had shooting lately was the picture of the Death Watch Mandalorian and the Pathfinder from Apex were both shot on the same day, literally minutes apart from one another.
Oh,
if
nice.
you'll look in the background of the Pathfinder photo, the Mandalorian guy is standing way in the background just as a scene piece.
Oh, right, there he is.
The set it's the same set, just with a few pieces moving around, and that was cool. I just had two figures, and hey, I had just gotten the Pathfinder figure, and the Mandalorian guy had never shot, and I was like, I just want to take a picture of these two, so just ran out and had a few minutes to spare. So
cool.
Had fun with it. Yeah.
I really love your mixture of the bricks and the pipes. That's so cool. That's very
it just
Star
felt
Wars.
like a Mos Eisley alley scene or something. It's kind of what I was going for.
It really looks like that. It fits really well. It's very, very Star Wars. So that's such a good idea. And you can get these super nice, accurate to scale dioramas, which are amazing, or you can just kind of mess around with some stuff and make it look kind of Star Warsy like this, and then you can just fiddle with it, later on.
And I really aim for my photos to look as much not like toys as I can. I want it to look very realistic, and so I feel like using pieces like that, using real materials and all versus a diorama, which I do want to pick up some diorama sets for shooting inside different figures. Like my TMNT photos and all, to me that doesn't fit outside the kind of darker environment that they're usually out at night or somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm.
That shooting inside kind of looks better. So I do want to kind of pick up some dio pieces, but for shooting outside, I like using real things and all as props.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, when you're shooting inside, you almost kind of have to use diorama pieces,
yeah.
unless you kind of want them to
that or do like a. Yeah, which actually I hadn't posted it on Instagram, but I put a picture in the Discord, which was just Tracer on my kitchen counter with a couple of thermoses behind her as props, kind of out of focus.
Awesome.
And it actually turned out kind of cool. Yeah.
That's my favorite part about indoor photography is just using household stuff in my photos. I love that. That's so much fun. But hey, your indoor stuff looks fantastic. So I hope your confidence level has gone way up. But we're getting some questions in the live chat too. So Wally,
Okay.
thank you so much, Wally. You're being super nice. And also, Knight Allen says, I'm a kid and I'm trying to learn action figure photos. Photos with my action figures. And Knight Allen, all I gotta say is that's amazing, and the best way to learn is to just go out there and do it. Just go out there and do it. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just do it. And the more you do it, you'll learn and figure stuff out. It's, do you have any advice?
Any free time, watch YouTube videos.
There you go.
Watch YouTube tutorials. If you use Photoshop or anything like that, just it doesn't really have to be toy photography tutorials. If you're using Photoshop or anything, any kind of tips you can pick up with Photoshop. And if you're not using Photoshop and you do, and you're not into tangible photography, you do want to edit photos, it's definitely worth it. I tried using GIMP for a while, and I'm sure for a lot of people it does work. Photoshop I really helped me out a lot. Just to me, it was much more intuitive. But just pick a figure up, do it, look at it, reshoot that picture, or see where you think you wish you would have tweaked something a little differently. And I don't know. I look back at some of my older pictures, and like I said again, I'd like to think I've improved a lot, but some of my older pictures, I'm like, man, I can't believe I see like what I was trying to do, but the execution was just a little off. And
you can definitely, like, if you scroll all the way back, and like all of your shots are awesome. But if you scroll all the way back and then you scroll all the way back up to the top, you can see a huge improvement of just overall just confidence with what you're doing, and just like overall just such huge improvement from which is amazing, which is just like, and a very fast improvement too, because you've been doing this for like a year or less.
Almost, yeah. I think I started in January.
So yeah, that's awesome, and it's so cool to see. That. Just like scrolling and like, oh wow, you can see the improvement here. So that's so cool.
Thanks.
So more shots. Speaking of that, says, you guys ever go back to your older photos and re-edit them? See how different your editing style has changed?
I actually do, and some of them I notice a huge difference. And like, man, and I don't want to repost it. No, I don't know if I'm afraid some people will think that's cheap. I think I did one time with a Wonder Woman picture I did, but yeah, just a little bit of different editing, some few new techniques and all that I picked up really makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure it's probably just it's fun, and it's just enjoyable to see like, oh, I like the way my new editing is. I feel good that I've gotten somewhere. So yeah, I'm sure. Like, yeah. I don't actually really do that. I don't really hold on to, like, once I kind of finish a photo and I edit it, I don't really hold on to the original photo.
I guess well, like, I don't. Most times when I do that, I don't hang on to the I guess you'd say like the source images. I'll just pull my finished product from the last time and just like tweak the colors, or maybe play with the highlights a little bit. And I guess it's cool as just an exercise to see, was the picture fundamentally not as good as it could have been, as far as the pose and everything like that, and the angle, the lighting that I set up, or was it just the editing could have been better? So it's just an exercise to see like where I need to improve or where I have improved. So
yeah. I definitely recommend giving that a shot for sure. And Rod AZ, how's it going, my friend? And so Bruley says, I'm too used to working with extreme preparation for my portrait photography, but often I do get ideas out of nowhere while shooting toy pics. It feels great. That's awesome. So that's a great feeling. Yeah, like me too. I'm super like I prep myself so much, and then every once in a while I'll do the same thing. I'll just be like, oh, I'm just going to go out and wing it.
Yeah, I think there are very few photos I've done extensive planning for. I'll just kind of sit on my couch and look around at my display, and I was like, I want to shoot that figure, and I'll grab it and kind of play with it, pose it a little bit, and think about the things I've got. And if it's at night, I'll think about the things I have for shooting inside. My brick wall that's behind Arc of Night there gets used a lot.
Yeah.
And then I've got just a few small pieces that I can just kind of put in the background as filler to kind of frame him up, I guess. And yeah, not a lot of extensive planning goes into a lot I do. It's just kind of a spur of the moment. An idea pops in my head, and just run out and play around.
I love that. And yeah, I'll do the same thing, man. This Link shot is it's adorable, and I love his pose, and I love how he's looking down at that little, I don't even know what that is, this little thingy.
I'm having a hard time remembering what they're called, but in A Link Between Worlds, it was the little collectibles you had to run around and find throughout the game. Eyes. There you go.
Oh, nice. Okay. The only Zelda game I've ever played was Breath of the Wild, and I loved it.
Man, you should play some more. I love the Zelda series.
I mean, I guess I should. I'm definitely gonna play the second one that comes out in the future. Definitely gonna play that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I also really love the. I'm assuming this was added in post, maybe not, but the little leaves flying in the background, like that was a really nice touch. That was a really nice little touch. Was that?
This is in my grandparents' backyard.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic. And the log is
it's just a falling down. Yeah, I mean, just a falling down. The large limb fell off a tree next to our pond, and and I like the way the light was shining through the trees, and so just
awesome.
Propped everything up. And
are the falling leaves? Did you add those in post or?
Yeah. So that's in post. That's just I'll go and just search a PNG file, so those were edited in, and I'll just of course add that as a separate layer, and then just adjust the lighting a little bit to kind of help blend it in a little. So it's such a nice. It's a very small touch, but it's super nice. And I gotta go to the Bluey shot. So my daughter, like I said, she turned 2 in August. Bluey is her thing, man. And so for her second birthday, I wanted to do something with my new hobby, relatively new hobby, and so I did this and got it printed out on canvas for birthday, and we got everyone at the party to sign the outer wrapping of the canvas so we could still hang it in the room, But I was pretty satisfied with the way it turned out. I took one to start with, and it was very dark, and I didn't like the colors, and so I did this one again, and I was pretty satisfied.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did she have could she visually recognize it when you showed it to her? Like, could she Oh
yeah, she loved it. She picked it up and walked around the kitchen with it, and
that's awesome.
She liked it. Yeah.
Cool. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that's really, really cool. And
the butterflies were actually a remedy, I guess you'd say, because the way the figures are made, I mean, there's almost no articulation. You've got the arms move up and down, and then the legs fold.
Right.
So they weren't actually looking or interacting with one another. So I had to have something for them to fixate on, so I would give them their own little butterfly to look at. So,
oh, I see. Oh, that's so smart. Yeah. Well, it worked out perfect, and it totally fits just like the warm tone of the photo. It totally fits that. And yes, I love how they're articulated in their belly. That's how they move is the belly.
Yeah.
It's the belly joint. Not a lot of.
And I saw your video you did for the house. I told my wife, I said, "Oh no, we've got to buy the house."
That's awesome.
If you haven't watched Bluey is actually one of the best things on TV to watch right now. My wife and I, we both enjoy watching it with her, and a lot of times I'll put it on for her, and I just find myself watching it, whether or not she is or not. So
that's great.
It's actually a pretty good little show.
I have watched before I did the whole Bluey project thingy. I did watch a little bit of it just because I had to know some of it. It really is an adorable show. It really is. Hey, Go Figure Go, how's it going? And Mr. Poop Farts a lot. Thanks for best name on the internet. Thank you for being here, you guys.
That is a catchy name. That is.
So actually, Mr. Poop Farts a lot says, "What is the best editing app on phone?" There's a lot of great ones. I think Snapseed is probably my favorite, in my opinion. Do you use any phone editing apps?
The first one I used, and I have used a few to, like when I'm bored and all I have is my phone, and I'll pull out a picture I've already edited and kind of toy with. Is I think Ultralights it's called on iPhone. I'm not sure if you can get it on Android or not.
Ultralights. Okay.
But it's actually a pretty powerful editing tool. And then Lightroom, of course. And a lot of times I'll uh, edit a photo in Photoshop and then move it over to my phone or something, go into Lightroom, and I can still tweak it a little bit and play with it and still get it to look even better sometimes.
Awesome. Yeah, there is definitely a little bit more you can do in Lightroom with it, just as far as colors and all that stuff in Lightroom as opposed to Photoshop. Hey, Pablo, how's it going, man? PL Toy Box, thanks for being here, man. And so
I think the most angry I ever get editing a photo is when I go to upload it on Instagram and I'll just click one of the filters they have and I'm like, this looks better than what I did. I don't like that. So
that's awful.
That sucks sometimes.
I don't even look at that. I don't even.
So now I just don't even try them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that anymore.
That's so funny. Yeah, I don't even think about going in and looking at those filters. I'm sure that it was not half as good as your original edit. I'm sure it was not. But this tracer shot is
some of my older
clean.
ones. This is one of my. I think one of my better shots because it is. I mean, the light just hit just right, and I really didn't have to play with the highlights a whole lot with this picture. The sun was in the right spot, and it just even like the line across the top of the photo there. That's actually the roof of my house. It even helped frame up the picture. Yeah, right there. That's actually the roof of my house. It even seems like the. Yeah, I mean, I really like the way this picture turned out. Yeah. And I actually didn't realize until I took this photo that it actually says Tracer on her pants. So,
yeah, it does, and it's very clear in the photo too. It's almost as if you did that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not. I didn't realize that until I started editing it. So, but yeah, I really like this picture.
Yeah, really, really great shot. Is this the Hasbro one or is this the Figma one?
No, Figma. Those figures are great. I love Figma and Figure Arts are my two favorite lines.
Yeah, really. especially these Overwatch Figma ones. I have the Diva Figma. It's really
good.
And Hasbro.
I haven't picked that one up. I've got the Farah Reaper and Tracer.
Oh, nice. They're just such the Overwatch characters are so cool, and it's just great designs. And it's weird.
They are.
It was weird when Hasbro started putting out the the Overwatch characters, and then they just kind of stopped. They must have been like a huge failure. They just started and then they just hard stopped. Like, we're done with these, and they didn't get very far. They only made.
I bought the 2-pack. It was Mercy and Farah that I bought the 2-pack, and I mean they're cool looking figures, but as far as articulation and all goes, they were lacking somewhat. But man, these Figma figures are great. I love them.
Yeah, Figma's great, but another one of those brands that's definitely not cheap for sure. And for some reason, I feel like Figma is just like.
Well, I think I actually picked this one up on Mercari.
Nice.
All right. I mean, I picked Tracer up on Mercari for like $35.
Whoa! Great deal.
Farah too. I think I paid like $40 for Farah.
Wow.
Reaper, I paid right at $80 for Reaper, but yeah, I mean, I got pretty good deals on these. So.
And I would say when I got Diva, I got her at full price. It was probably like $80. So nice, good deal.
Yeah.
Mercari, this is the way to go, you guys. Absolutely.
You get some good deals.
This shot is awesome too. The water is just so clear, and I love the like crooked kind of angle you have you shot this with? Like I just that it almost looks like he's coming out of like a wall of water, or like it's even like a huge wave or something. Just I really like that angle.
So I'm actually standing in the edge of my pond in front of my parents' house.
Oh, you're in the pond.
And shout out to my wife if she's not watching this now. Yeah, she had to get in there with me because the tripod was not wanting to stand up on its own. Yeah, so this is we're standing in the edge of this pond. So she had to stand out and hold the tripod for me so my camera wouldn't turn over because I said, babe, if this camera goes in the water, I'm done with toy photography. And so thanks to her for helping me out. I enjoyed. I had fun shooting this one.
That's awesome. She stood in there with you. Did she take her shoes off, or did she
Yep.
go full on with shoes? Get the shoes.
No, we took our shoes off.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Because that's tough if you're not really comfortable with the outdoors too much. Like going into like a pond with bare feet is kind of like scary. It's scary for some people.
Yeah,
So.
it feels weird. Yeah.
Because you never know what your foot is touching. Yeah, that's so awesome. And Amar Atheme in the live chat is being awesome right now. He's said perfect lighting on that shot.
Thanks.
And Stubbs says this is a killer shot. I agree. And I also just really like this reel that you made. Like, I love the old like filter over it. Makes it look like an old movie, and it says something lurks beneath. That's cool. I like
Thanks.
that. It's just like
The original idea for the shot was Swamp Thing. The I guess like the 12-inch McFarlane Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
But I walked into GameStop one day and they had him. I'm like, hey, that'd be pretty cool. So
Oh, okay. So you had this idea before you bought the figure.
yeah. So that was one of the ones that I did kind of halfway plan, and then kind of winged it a little.
Nice.
But like I said, originally it was supposed to be Swamp Thing, which I still hadn't given up on. I still may do that one later a little bit differently, but I thought it worked out pretty cool with Killer Croc.
Yeah, it definitely did. And did you end up getting the Swamp Thing, or did you just get Killer Croc?
I have not yet, but I'm going to.
Those big McFarlane figures are all awesome. The Mega.
They are. The Bane is really cool. I really like the figure. I hadn't been able to do anything with it yet, but I do have it. I was able to pre-order it and get it from BBTS.
Awesome. Yeah, anything all those big hunky ones are all really cool. I've only gotten a couple of them, but they're all really cool figures. So I have a bunch of questions from Instagram, and
Okay.
so let's start asking some of those questions. So anytime I do any of these interviews, you guys, I will post on Instagram and I'll say, got any questions? And I'll take all those questions and I'll put them up on here and we'll shout you out. So please do. Please, the more questions, the better. So the first question is a really important question. So like I want you to really think hard about this one. This is from Super Pufferfish, and he says, how's y'all's day been?
Mine actually hasn't been too bad. We had a pretty slow day at work, so not a whole lot going on. So.
All right, nice. And so, and you are currently still at your workplace. Am I correct? This is a good spot.
I am. We have a locker room here I made use of, and so I'm here. I've been here since about 6:30 this morning. So.
Oh my gosh, we gotta finish this up so you can go home and relax. And
No, I don't have to work tomorrow. So tonight's my game/YouTube night. So
nice. All right, what are you gonna play tonight?
Either Tekken or Elden Ring.
Oh, okay, nice. I have not.
Yeah.
When Elden Ring came out and everyone was loving it, I was like, this looks awesome. I'm not gonna play it because this looks just like too much for me to handle right now. Just too much time I'm gonna want to put into it. I just don't want to. I don't want to do it. But
By far my favorite game ever. It reignited my love for video games.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's huge. Favorite game ever. Dang. Geez, maybe I should.
Yeah, if you enjoy games and haven't played it, do yourself a favor and pick it up.
Yes. Also, Jacob Forna says, first time catching a stream. Love the tutorials and videos. Amazing stuff, Charlie. Awesome, Jacob. Appreciate that. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. Oh, so we have a chat, or a question in the live chat from Amar. Says, how fast is your shutter speed usually? I cannot keep the water like that when I take a shot. Great question.
So that's one of the great things about shooting outside is a lot of times I'll have it maxed out, like or shoot around 1/3000 or but really up to a certain point it's as fast as I can with the lighting I still want. But I'm that was a pretty sunny day, so I'm pretty sure I was shooting around 1/4000. The
awesome.
fastest it'll go.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, basically, like if it's nice and sunny out, just crank that shutter speed up as much as you can until it gets too dark, basically. And the brighter the sunlight is, the basically the more you can crank it, and the faster it goes, the more crisp that water will be. Amar, for sure.
Yeah, and the next comment he made about keeping the figures up, that goes into something else I thought I would have a problem with, and I don't as much. I'm usually really anal about my things. So afraid something's going to get hurt, or I never thought I'd be throwing dirt at $80 or $100 action figures, or throwing one in a pond. So yeah, the wire that you referenced in one of your videos, the video, hey, the things you need for toy photography. So I went out and picked a spool of that up, and I still have the same spool from the beginning of this year, so it'll last a while.
Awesome.
But I had a hard time getting it to hold my figures up, so I found out that if I twist it, just bend it over and twist it one time, that so that'll make it a lot more rigid, and it's really easy to edit out. So that is actually just that some of that wire shoved into his hip socket. So
there you go.
Yeah, and just jammed down into the like I said, we were in a really shallow portion of the pond, so it just kind of jammed down into the bottom of the pond.
Another thing, Amar, that I've been using a lot, so that wire, and same with me, I've been using that same spool of wire since I got it. So how many years I've had it. But I've been using these wooden skewers a lot lately, and the wooden skewers are huge, and they're just you get a pack of them at Walmart. They're made for cooking, and one side's pointy, and they're really good. They're really good, and they're super cheap, and I'll use one and then I'll just kind of toss it, and that'll be it. So great question, amazing question. So back to the questions from Instagram. All right, so this is from RodAZ70 Photography. RodAZ, I'm pretty sure it was here in the live chat. It says, what is your favorite figure to shoot with?
I had an answer for this one. Probably here lately, and I've done a few of them though, but I've been toying with more ideas in between shots. Is the TMNT figures that I picked up. I've been trying to find those for the longest time, but I did not want to pay secondhand market value. And I was in a local Walmart one day, and they had both 2-packs.
Nice.
And
wow.
from the Secret of the Ooze set, and I snatched both of those up. So right now, I really enjoy shooting with those. Yeah. And then picked up a couple of foot soldiers a few days later.
So shooting with these more than shooting with the 1000 Toys Master Chief, huh?
Currently, yes, but yeah, I do have a lot of. I don't know, man. I have so much fun with all of my figures, and this was really to start out with. The toy photography was just a reason for me to collect figures because I enjoyed collecting figures, and I have since I was young. But I just man, they're just sitting on a shelf. There's no reason for me to keep buying these things. I'm not going to do anything with them.
Yep.
They wind up going back in the closet. but this was just an excuse for me to start buying action figures again, and it's turned into something I'm really passionate about. I've really enjoyed it.
That's amazing. That's great. So Rod AZ, thank you for sending that question in. And that actually, what you were just saying, leads me to another question. And this is from Clone War 501st. Says, are you more of a toy photographer or a toy collector? Which is higher on your list?
I would say probably more of a photographer, because I try to shy away from buying any figures that I have no intention of shooting or can't come up with an idea for. Like if I'm just in the store and like I see a figure, like, hey, I realize this figure, but if I can't kind of come up with some sort of idea at least to justify the purchase right then, I'll put it back and won't buy it.
Awesome.
So yeah, I do like to have kind of some idea that of a picture before I buy the figure. And my wife gets it with me sometimes. I bought a new figure. You need to take more than one picture with one figure. So I've really been trying to do that too,
Yeah.
to reuse figures and shots. So
Yep, definitely. Same here. I mean, that's good. I mean, at least you're only buying figures you plan on shooting, and you don't really buy figures you don't plan on shooting, which that's a huge step, because if you buy figures for both, then the hobby, the money pit just doubles.
yeah, and it is a money pit.
It sure is. It sure as heck is. So awesome. All right, so toy photographer first, and then collector second. Awesome. And also, if you're watching right now and you're enjoying it, please drop a quick like on the video. That would be awesome. And also, actually, before you do that, go and follow Resolute Ronin. I'm just gonna give another quick reminder for that. Go follow Charlie right now. And if we go on his Instagram right now, he was at 824, and now he's at 832. All right, it's almost another 10 followers.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
Thanks.
Keep it coming, everybody. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Sweet. So let's go back here. So next question is, so we asked what your favorite figure is. What's your favorite toy line? Is it Halo? I'm assuming that's what Aloha Toy Photography asked.
I do really like the 1000 Toys Chiefs that I've got, but that's the only figure I have from that line. So I guess overall would probably have to be figure arts. That's what I've collected the most of. Which, I mean, that's just those are the best Dragon Ball figures that are available, and I've collected a lot of those.
Yeah.
Not all that I hadn't gotten around to taking photos with all of them, but yeah, probably figure arts.
I would probably agree. Figure arts, it probably is my. I love the Black Series, but I think figure arts is my favorite for sure. But I would agree. Some more
like budget friendly options to some of their figures. Like they'll have less accessories maybe, or so. I mean, like some of the newer figures, there's a Goku, a Piccolo, like you pick up for like $35 new on the shelf, and then they do have some of the more expensive end figures. So there's something for everybody with their line.
Yeah, you can find some figure arts anywhere. Like I found figure arts at Target and at Walmart. They've got Goku and Goku Black.
That was So I live in a very small town. I have to drive about an hour for the nearest comic book shop, and so Walmart is really the only place I have near me to buy figures. And it was really cool to walk in and see the Super Saiyan Goku and the Goku Blue figure art figures in that Walmart. I was like, man, this is really cool. Maybe they'll get some other stuff, because I'd already bought those figures. So.
That's cool. Yeah, it's definitely cool to see.
I'm hoping somebody else will buy them so they'll get more. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome, and it's cool. It's crazy that they only sell them for like $35. Yeah, that's awesome. So awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, they'll a lot of times won't have as many accessories as some of the more expensive figures, but it's still really cool, and all the articulation is still the same as the more expensive figures and all. And great looking, great articulated figures. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so awesome. And so thanks Aloha, and also the Figure Freak. Actually, no, this is a different question. This is different because Aloha says, "What's your favorite toy line to shoot?" I guess. Okay, favorite toy line to shoot. But then the Figure Freak says, "What's your favorite figure line to collect?" Is that a different answer? Collecting to shooting?
Possibly. The few Figma figure, I think I have about 5 different Figma, 5 or 6 Figma figures. That's hard to say. I like the presentation. I like the boxes, the accessories that usually come with the figures are all great. The articulation's great. They have great articulation and don't really sacrifice any on the looks. Like the Yamaguchi figures have amazing articulation. If you don't know how to pose them, they look kind of weird sometimes.
That's true.
Like that Wonder Woman has a giraffe neck. Her neck is really long, so if you don't pose your head right, it looks really weird.
Right, and yeah, sometimes the shoulders will be like really thin here. They'll like thin out the shoulders, so then you can do all this stuff. But then if you do this, it looks really weird under there with those.
If you get the right angle, it looks cool. So I mean, it's all on how you pose them and the angle you can get.
Right.
But it's probably line to collect would probably be Figma because they have so many different. I guess like different anime lines and everything of figures that I didn't even know existed that look really cool. They have some really cool looking figures. So yeah, probably Figma.
All right, cool. Yeah, Figma's cool. Figma's awesome.
Yeah,
they make some really random figures too. Like they got like a Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack.
Yeah,
Sparrow
they do. Yeah,
stuff. It's like really random stuff. So awesome. All right, so next is this is a great question from Shaytown. Says, how do you make the character fly? I know with a stick, but how do you not see it? This is a very valid question.
To start out with, I use the so and it helps a lot if you there's some pictures I've taken and didn't really take it into consideration. I just I edit it out, and then it turns into, because if you get into a very detailed part of the figure, like whether it be part of their costume or a joint on the figure or something like that, it gets really hard to edit around sometimes without making it look bad. So if you can hide most of it behind part of the figure or behind a set piece, it works out. But using either the cloning tool or the content aware fill, or there's some shots that I've tried to do, like I know some people will take a shot without the figure. But most of my stuff doesn't work well like that for doing debris and action scenes and stuff like that. It doesn't work too well. So yeah, just edit it out the best I can a lot of times, and most of the times it works out pretty well.
Yeah. Same here. You just edit it out. But that's interesting you say that too. Hey Lucan, thanks man. Thanks for being here. But yeah, like, because a really great way to do it when you're editing things out is take like a blank shot and then take your normal shot, so you can use that blank shot to help remove the wire. But when you're dealing with dirt and debris and moving particles, you can't just redo a blank shot with all the dirt exactly in the same spot, so it doesn't always apply in that way. So you're the first person I've ever really heard say that, and I have that going around in my head all the time. Like, I wish I could do that with this. So
I think what's really gotten me before is like my background, my I guess my bottom image. I'll take the time to edit it out, and it'll look great, and then I forget all the other layers on top have that same wire in it, and then so I have to go through all that again.
Yep.
So. Amar has a question. Said, have you ever taken a shot that you thought looked great, and you start editing afterwards and see some issues with it? Yes, all the time. And so I've trashed several images because I forgot that I adjusted something or picked the figure up to tweak and set it back down and didn't adjust my focus, and it's just the picture's ruined. And yeah,
definitely. Me too, Amar, for sure. And one thing I've learned when that does happen, it's a huge pain in the butt to go and reshoot it. It really is, to go redo and set everything up. And but it's totally worth going and redoing it, because when you go and redo it, not only are you probably going to fix the one thing that you messed up the first time, you're going to probably do a ton of other things differently that are better, because you've already done this before. You've already done it before, and your second shot will always be so much better, and you'll be so glad you redid it. So it's totally worth it. So if that happens, it's worth redoing it.
And there's a really good chance if you do make that mistake, like me picking the figure up and forgetting to adjust the focus, you won't do that next time. You'll remember, hey, I need to adjust my focus before I try to take this picture again. So it's a learning experience.
Yeah, it really, really is. Nutty Bakers, how's it going, sir? Thanks for being here. I know I'm saying your name wrong, but I like Nutty Bakers. Stubbs, have a good night, man. Thanks for being here, as always. And Pablo has a really great question. He says, how do you use the content aware fill? That's a really good question.
The easiest way to do it is just be sure you have the layer selected that you're trying to edit out, and use your lasso tool. Depending on where it's positioned, or you could use just a rectangle tool and draw a rectangle over it, or use the lasso tool and you want to try to select as smaller areas you can. That way the AI doesn't have to fill in so much. And once you select the area, you can right click on that selection, and then on the pop-up menu it'll ask you, or you can select content aware fill, and it'll pop up another window, and then you can it'll highlight the part of the image that it wants to use to fill in that, and you can select more. You can get rid of some of that it'll give you a preview. And a lot of times I'll try to edit out, like, say, my wire all at one time, and you just can't get it to work right. And if you'll just edit out pieces of it at the time, it tends to work better like that. The smaller the selection you have to edit out, the easier the AI can do it.
Yeah, the smaller the better. So content aware fill is super duper easy. And actually, Pablo, I in my YouTube tutorials, there's a video called Toy Photography Wires Using and Removing. I go over like how to use the content aware fill and all that stuff, but he also says there is a better way to use content aware fill in Photoshop than going to edit, fill, content aware. Oh yes, you know what? I know you guys were talking about that one time. I don't remember what it was.
I right click the selection. Yes, I'll just right click the selection, and on the pop up menu it's there. You can. So just hover over the whatever area you've selected, right click, and then it'll have content aware fill there.
Yeah. Okay, that's really great. And now I totally see what you meant.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say another use for content aware fill. I hate getting a picture framed up exactly how I want it, and I don't want to crop it at all. This is exactly the way I want this picture. And then you're trying to upload it on Instagram, and Instagram wants you to crop it. So another great use for content aware fill, and it's something you kind of have to plan ahead for, because it'll depend greatly on what's on the edge of your picture. But when you crop your photo, like if you do a 4x5 crop and you still want that same framing sort of, if you draw your crop outside of your photo, and on Photoshop, there's a box at the top you can click, use this content aware fill. It'll fill in that outside area, but again, you have to kind of plan ahead a little for that. Or sometimes it just works out so that it'll look natural, I guess, or look okay once it's done.
I do the same exact thing all the time. If my photos are too long for Instagram, I'll do that exact thing. That's awesome. That's so awesome. And Pablo, I totally see what you were getting at now when you first said, how do you use content aware fill? You were like, how do you use content aware fill? Because you clearly know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
But there's a shortcut. The shortcut he's talking about is if you hold shift and hit delete. That is it's a quicker way to do it. And he says the AI is more precise. And I think it is too, because I have like a little shortcut button on this loop deck thingy that I use, this stream deck for Photoshop, and it just content aware fill, boom, and it just does it. And it seems to be better. It says the AI is more precise. That's what Pablo says, and I think he might be right. I think it really is more precise.
It does. It does do a really good job. A lot of sometimes, very few times, I will have to like edit the selection that it's made. Like
Yeah.
if I'm trying to edit out something right next to like the figure's leg or something, it'll select part of the leg because it's right there adjacent to it.
Right.
Be like, no, 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 I don't want those
No.
colors. I want,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is usually pretty accurate.
Yep. Yes. Also, Rod Az
And
says.
that's something else.
Oh, go go go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a bit of a
It's
delay
okay.
between. I was just say, I didn't know about the holding shift and hit delete using shortcuts in Photoshop. Because I mean, if you get in a flow and you're really working, and you really got it going on, having to go sort through menus and everything will kind of slow you down. Using shortcuts, if you can learn shortcuts, is a huge help.
Huge. Yes, I agree. Definitely. Um, but Rod, yes, thanks for liking my shirt, dude. I like this shirt too. Thanks, man. And Lucan is over here and says he's gonna give you 5 bucket heads for great shots. Thanks, dude. And also, Nutty Bacon says he just went and followed Charlie's work. That's awesome. He says your stuff is great. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
I just saw that comment. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I'm not interacting much with chat. I'm not very good at doing both, I guess.
It is hard to multitask with the live
Yeah.
chat and all this stuff. It is definitely hard. So let's see here. Next question on the list we got here. So
I see somebody saying something about recommending a free photo editing app. If you want a solid Photoshop alternative and you're willing to put in the time to learn it, GIMP, GIMP is a great program,
yes,
and it's all free.
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
it's very comparable to Photoshop.
I've never actually used GIMP, but I need to download it and give it a shot. I think I might. I feel like I need to like make a video on like this free editing app. Definitely got to do. Definitely got to do that sometime.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great tool. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are going wild in the live chat. Zach Zoom says always use a shortcut so that you can enjoy the creating process and not have to worry about going up and down the menu selection. Awesome. I like that a lot. So CJ Notorious says, what's the hardest thing you've had to deal with while taking pictures?
I guess 2 things. The weather. When I like to shoot outside, you'll be so motivated and I'll have a great idea and it'll be cloudy outside or rain or whatever. But really is myself trying to get over the hurdle of sometimes in my mind creating problems that really aren't there. Yeah, my own criticism is probably my hardest thing to deal with my photography.
Yeah, I would say those are 2 really valid things. So the first one with the weather is a total pain in the butt. There's never anything we could do about it, which totally sucks. And I'm right there with you, like hardcore. It sucks sometimes. It really does. But the second one is you being your own worst critic. I think we all have at least a little bit of that or more. But that can be good sometimes. Being your own worst critic can be helpful with making you grow and having a certain standard, which I think is good. But we all have that struggle, like all of us, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's really great answer for that. And Lucan has a great question. He says, do you make your own dioramas?
I actually don't. So the only, well, I guess yes and no. So the only actual diorama pieces that I have are a couple of brick wall sets that I think they're made by Tamashi that are supposed to actually be, I guess, like displays for figures. Because they come with figure stands and everything.
Right.
So I use those like in the TMNT photos and stuff like that, different things. And then I bought like some oil drums off of Amazon and some little like replica cinder blocks that you'll see in the just as kind of laying around the feet of some of the figures at times. And then the yes part of that is just using anything I can find, like that picture, blocks, landscaping tiles, scrap metal. Yeah, and I'll start with one piece and have an idea in my head, and I'll set up something and look through the camera and set up another piece, and just kind of frame up the picture, and kind of always kind of keep the idea where the figure is in the photo and use everything else to frame him up.
Yeah, awesome. And I love this. This is just this. I would say that this is this counts as making a diorama. I mean, it's not quite the same as, you know, when people will go and make these beautiful, crazy, like, to scale detailed dioramas for sure. But I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that I would want to do too. Like, this is right up my alley. Just like putting stuff together real quick that works for the photo. You know, I like that. I like this a lot.
No, and I would like to say that I truly admire anybody's ability to build some of the dios that I see.
Me too.
It's awesome, and I wish I had the time and the skill to do that. I love it. But yeah, I guess doing that would take away from the actual photography part. So I have to kind of pick and choose my battles.
Hey, well, you never know. Maybe it'll become a new thing one day. You'll start diving into the dio making. You never know. I see that happen to a lot of people. But no, I love your just, you know, with the pipes and the bricks and just like putting stuff together. I love that. I think that's really cool. And
Nice.
so, CJ, have a great night, my friend. And also, Mr. Poop Fart Salat says, what do you use for the background? So basically, you know, the same kind of thing that he's.
So in that picture.
No, you answer. It's all you. It's all you.
Oh yeah. So in that picture, it's all the pieces you see. The blue in the background is just a poster board that I couldn't find a blue foam board, so I bought a white foam board and just used clamps to clip a blue regular poster board to it to hold it up. Yeah. So, and it's just something to kind of fill in those gaps, like the hole next to his head there, and but anything I can fill the background with, and that's a lot of times, like in the Dimitri picture, I think that was my last upload, the Darkstalkers guy. The background of that is a little dragon statue that my mom got me for Christmas a year or two ago, and to the left of him is actually half of the Halo statue that is the picture I talked about at the beginning of the stream. I use it a lot in photos. It separates, so it's magnetic, so Chief and Lock separate from one another, and I'll turn it sideways and use it as kind of a stone wall or something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, I use all kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I love how it's something abstract enough to the point where if you put it in the background out of focus, it will work so well for anything. Like with this picture, for sure. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. And all right, where are we at with your followers now? 834. So we're at 10 plus since we started. Awesome. Yay.
Thanks.
Keep them coming, everybody. All right, so. Oops, that's in the way. Random Fig says, "Do you like Halo?" I think that's a yes.
Yes, I do. Yeah, Halo was one of the reasons I bought an Xbox to start with, and then Halo Infinite was the reason I bought a Series X. So, yeah.
What's your favorite Halo?
Love Halo. Love the lore. I really like Reach. Probably 2.
Okay, nice.
And then
the dual
followed
wielding.
by 1. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, SMGs.
Have they brought that back in any other game, like the dual wielding? Is that a thing in any other game where you've been able to grab 2 pistols?
Oh man, I was about to say you put me on the spot. It's been a while with our internet at home. Yeah, well, as we've discussed, our internet at home is terrible, so I haven't played any Halo in a long time. So I know there's dual wielding in other Halo games. I don't remember how widespread it was throughout the Halo series.
I'm sure it was never quite the same as, you know, Halo 2, for sure. So a great question.
Rod's asking what camera I use.
Oh yeah, yes. What camera do you use?
Yeah, so the Canon, the Rebel T7, the EOS T7. Yeah, it's a great camera.
Really great camera. Really great camera. It's like the perfect camera to like start with and then still keep going with for years and years. So it's a mixture of like a starter camera and like
a
great camera. It's amazing. So yeah. Next question's from Shay Reed. Says, any tips for smoke effects could be really helpful. Do you have any tips for smoke effects?
So I haven't used any Atmosphere Aerosol. I've been thinking about getting some and trying it out, but never have. Uh, I have used the spray deodorant as we've seen, which again can look okay in some shots, but it doesn't interact well with light. It actually act as a screen versus how the Atmosphere Aerosol will interact well with the light. I've used the misters that some people
Right.
I forget who pointed me toward those. That works well in some situations. A lot of my recent photos have been Photoshop brushes. I try not to overuse it, and I've been kind of toying around with that a lot. And a lot of times it won't be the sole source, but it'll be kind of to add to it. Yeah, I used the mister in that, and actually, what turned out was kind of a happy accident. The blue kind of swirl going on behind them is the blue LED that's in the mister.
Oh,
If you'll
no
look, there's a
way.
blue light that's a ring around the mister. So that was the kind of blue swirl going on in the background.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I
Huh.
just turned my shutter speed way down
Oops.
and just kind of caught that.
That's so cool, and that's what that was. Wow, what a cool accident kind of thing. But yeah, this is called a mister, literally
Yeah.
like a portable mister. So
So they can work well in certain shots, and like I said, it does interact well with the light if you can, and it works well. Like there's like setting the light there at their feet and letting it shine through. But if you don't overuse it, and like you'll create an additional layer with the kind of smoke brushes or whatever on Photoshop, turn the opacity down, and a lot of times I'll put like a Gaussian blur on the smoke to make it look not so defined and everything
yeah,
that you can
great
tell
idea.
that it's photoshopped in. It works out pretty well, better than I would have expected.
Awesome. Yeah, and another great thing to use first if you're just looking for smoke in general, just real smoke, just like light a little piece of paper on fire and just kind of, I mean, it's good like you light it, blow it out, and then just let the smoke kind of seep through. That's really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously be careful. So that,
Yes.
I mean, real smoke works great. Real smoke
Yeah.
definitely works great. And some really great questions coming up in the live chat. Jacob Furna says, how much does the Rebel camera run for usually? I'm saving up for one now to give toy photography a real go. Well, that's amazing, Jacob. We were talking about it earlier, and it was like it used to be around like 300 or so, but now it's gone up to even like
Yeah.
4 or
So
5.
after the last few years, yeah, because I was actually looking at getting the T8, like I said earlier, for the display, and I think that's almost $1,000 camera now. It's like $800 or $900. You
Wow.
used to be able to buy the T8 for what you can buy the T7 for now. Um, but if you can find a good used one, like we said on before, Mercari, you might can get a good deal on it. But I think new, you're probably going to spend about $500 on a camera.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we were talking about the Mercari app a lot earlier. Go on Mercari, download that app, and look on there to find used stuff. I'm sure you'll be able to find a good camera, Rebel T6, T7, T whatever. And sorry, my cat is trying to jump up on my lap and he keeps failing. Come here, buddy. So yeah, you might get lucky and find one on there for a good price. That's what I would recommend for sure.
Yeah.
So let's see here. What next do I have for Next question is from Toy in Motion, and he says, "Do you know Toy in Motion?" I mean, Toy in Motion's great photographer. So
Yeah. So I have seen some of his stuff. Really cool.
I just imagine that
they're-
you and him were like great friends, and he was sending this over as like a funny thing to get at you. But
I mean, I don't think I do, unless I do and don't realize it. I wouldn't know him by his tag. I guess I don't know.
maybe he's just going for the plug. He's totally going for the plug. And you know what, Toy in Motion, that's totally okay. We know we're all going for the plug. So it's,
What's so cool with toy photography though is everybody has their own style, and all of it looks everything looks so cool, and you can learn something from everybody. I've picked up so many different things just looking through everybody's different photos and everything.
Me too.
So many great photographers.
I agree. Me too. That's awesome. Yeah. In the live chat, Mile High Plastic Guy says, "Started following you right before the live stream." So, great work, Charlie.
Thanks.
Mile High.
Thanks.
Awesome. So next question is from Tex Toy Photography. How long have you been a photographer, and where do you get your 6-inch figures? This is a loaded double question.
I've been trying to get into photography for the last few years, but just the beginning of this year got into toy photography. So I like I said, I may have started toying around with it the end of December of last year or so, and started posting in January, I believe it was. So actually, I guess not very long. Like I said, I had an interest in photography for a while, just not toy photography.
Cool. So you had the desire to get into toy photography, and then to get into photography, and then once toy photography came around, boom, that was it. That was the final straw that got you into it.
So everything happens for a reason, because if I hadn't bought the camera previously and kind of, I'm not going to say given up on that hobby of like scenic photography or anything, just it hadn't worked out yet. I just had the camera sitting on a shelf. If I hadn't had it, I may not have started, doing toy photography, but I had it, so I tried it out. So.
Also,
and the 6-inch figures. I've bought several from Big Bad Toy Store. A lot of my figures I get off Mercari, because and a lot of times the figures I'll have a price in my head, like, hey, I kind of got this much budget for figures this week, and I'll just go in there and see what I can find in that budget range, and then I see something I like, I'm like, hey, okay, yeah, I can do this with this figure, and then I'll get it. So, but I'd say a large portion of my collection has come from Mercari.
Awesome. Mercari, way to go, you guys. This is the theme of
of
the stream.
And I like how Mercari kind of holds the seller accountable pretty well. Like you can trust most of the time that you're going to get what you ordered, and that it's going to be in the shape that it's been said to be in.
It is, yeah. And Mercari is very reliable for sure. So really quick, actually, I'll be right back. But in the meantime, while I come right back, Dr. Awesome has a really great question, and just go for it. Answer his question, and I'll be right back.
I do wish it was a bit more mainstream, that more well known. I guess it is still very niche, even though I do feel like there are more and more people getting into it. But I guess that's our job to put the news out there and get everybody into it. Linda, no, I have not submitted a floating photo for the live stream Friday. I hope to be able to do that in the next day or two. I got the next few days off, so maybe I can get something put together.
You still got time. You got plenty of time. And okay, I'm back.
Yeah, and then I see Tripping with Toys says about a fog machine for Halloween. Yeah. So I've been kind of perusing the Halloween section a lot, trying to pick up some different props and things. And I'm angry that I have not been able to get any of the skeleton figures that you did your video on. I've checked like 4 different Walmart in my area and still haven't been able to find any.
Man. Yeah, actually, I was at Walmart yesterday and I saw some smoke machines. I was like, that's a pretty good price for a smoke machine. Maybe I should, or a fog machine.
Yeah, yeah, not terrible.
So I'm definitely interested in what. I don't know. Just curious to see if that would ever come in handy, for sure. And I found that this one skeleton, this guy, I have him right here actually. I found this guy one time at Walmart, and then I haven't found any others since then. So keep checking.
I've not been able to find. So I did find a few cool things, but yeah.
Dang. Keep checking. Keep checking, everybody. Yeah, this little skeleton guy's awesome. Okay, so my girlfriend was locked out, so I had to go run and unlock her out.
Oh.
So Dr. Awesome, thanks for sending in the question, and I'm kind of curious as to what your answer was. What was the one thing you could change? What's the answer? Nothing.
I kind of, and I guess the answer may be a bit selfish, but I wish it was a bit more mainstream. It's still, even though I feel like the community is growing, it's still very niche, and that makes it harder to grow as a toy photographer. So I guess that's the selfish part of it. That it would be.
It's not selfish at all.
More.
It's not selfish.
Yeah,
I also wish it was more. I think that the more we keep doing it, it will continue to grow, and I think one day it will become maybe not mainstream, but well known. Like known, people know about it. So,
yeah, and that was kind of the second part of my answer, was that I guess that's our job, our responsibility to put this out there and to make it more mainstream.
That's an amazing answer. I love that so much. Yeah, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and it'll get there for sure. Tripping with Toys says it's your fault they're all out of skeletons, Jared. I guess so. A lot of people have been buying them after I made that video, which is awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad. But if you do see them in store, don't buy them all. Leave some for your fellow friends and toy photographers for sure. Jacob has another great question. It says, sorry if you guys have talked about this already, but is there a particular lens that's used most with toy photos, millimeter wise, like 18-55 or 75-300 and such? I know those two are like ones that I think will often come with the camera, especially the 18-55 like kit lens. That's a great lens. The 18-55 is great.
Yeah,
for sure. And really, I think just like with any type of photography, you can use any lens you get for something different, and it'd be really great. I know Charlie often uses the 50 millimeter f1.8 lens, which is awesome. I use that one a lot too.
Yeah, that's pretty much exclusively what I use.
It's a great lens. I would definitely look into that one, Jacob, the 50 millimeter. That one's awesome. Really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think, and it's actually not that expensive. I mean, you probably can get a 50 millimeter, for the Canon anyway, for probably, $100-$150.
Yeah.
But it really helps. I like that shallow depth of field that I can get with that lens. So I've really enjoyed using it.
Yeah, same here. And Amar says he uses the 50 millimeter religiously. Yeah, religiously. I will pray to my 50 millimeter. 50 millimeter lens, please make this shot be good. So speaking of the fog machines, Pablo says, you guys are sending out great stuff in the live chat, by the way. Pablo says, I use a fog machine, and a few years ago from Walmart, I got it from Walmart, and he made a custom chill box to keep the fog thicker, so it stays on the ground longer, thickens the fog. That's really interesting, Pablo. So just kind of cool it off a little bit. That's awesome. Cool idea.
Yeah.
And Nutty Bakers just also has a really relatable thing. He says, I'm trying He's trying out indoor photography because the mosquitoes are no joke. Yeah, they really are.
Depending mosquitoes in Middle Georgia are pretty rough, and the heat too. So
yeah. Mr. Nutty. I actually have a citronella candle that I will bring with me sometimes if I'm near. Like I'll light it and leave it near me while I'm shooting. I actually tried that like within the last couple days, and I think it worked. So buy a citronella candle and bring that with you. I mean, that's kind of extra for sure, but give that a shot for sure. All right, we have one more Instagram question, and this is from Rodolph Azuni, and this was the first question sent in. He says, "What's your favorite picture? Favorite picture you ever taken?"
That's a hard one. There's some that I guess would be my favorite in different categories, I guess.
So what would
I
be?
probably think right now though is the king shot.
Okay, let's say what would be your favorite right now?
So right now would probably be the king shot because it turned off. It turned out almost exactly like I envisioned it before I took the photo. Actually, maybe a little better than I'd hoped. And I always like King. I've never been able to master the character in Tekken, but the character, it's just a cool character design. And Storm did a great job with that figure. I love that figure.
Yeah, they do great.
But yeah, so right now probably that one.
All right, great answer. I mean, any answer would have been amazing, because honestly, all of your shots are freaking awesome and amazing. So, and Rod Az agrees. He says, "Nice, that one is very cool." I agree. So, one last question here from Random Figs before I go into my final questions. He says, "What's your favorite season to shoot in?" His favorite is fall.
Yeah, right. So right now in Georgia is pretty nice. We've had some not so hot days, some fair weather, good sunshine, and not scorching hot. So yeah, fall's been pretty nice so far.
Yeah, fall. I mean, fall is just a great season in general. It's a great time of the year. I think my favorite season to shoot in is the spring, and I think I like the spring. Well, I do like fall too, but in the spring, like there's no leaves on the trees, which is cool because the sun, like I get so much more sunlight. There's no leaves to block out the sun, so if ever I need to get the magic hour at the end of the day lighting, I can get that for way longer because the sun isn't being blocked by the leaves or anything. And it's really a weird thing to think about, but I do really like the spring for that reason. And then once the greens and all the leaves grow back, like I barely get any of that late sunlight in my backyard. So it's probably
So my backyard, I guess studio you'd say, is I have about a 4 to 5 hour window where I have good sunlight and different angles at different times. Because of the tree growth around our house. So I've actually been shooting a lot out close to the highway. So people are probably driving by wondering what I'm doing out in the yard with toys and a camera. So because there's more sunshine available in that area, not as much tree cover in our front yard right by the highway. So and that golden hour light, I'm able to get it in that spot, at closer to dark or closer to sunset. So.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, by the highway, there's not a lot of trees, so that's a smart way to do it. That's cool. Great question. Random.
Not like right adjacent to, so be careful with that. But
right, don't go in the highway in the middle of it and get run over. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah. No.
All right. So my last two questions for you are, if there was any figure that does not exist, I'm doing a bad job here. What character do you want to be made as an action figure that is not a figure yet? What figure do we need?
Okay, so I was giving this some thought earlier today, and you're a bit more narrow than I was planning on. So I guess can I steer it towards an IP?
Absolutely.
Uh,
You answer that however you want.
as a kid, like I loved Dino Riders, and just every child loves dinosaurs, and Dino Riders was awesome. And I didn't realize up until recently that it only ran for like 2 months. There was only like 13 episodes, and the show got canceled. But
Dino
I would love
Riders.
to have, yes, I would love to have some more uh, contemporary or modern figures. Like, I mean, I'd love to have some of the old classic figures, but I would love to have some newer figures to be able to shoot some Dino Riders figures. Um,
I never knew that this existed. So for anyone who doesn't know
yeah,
about Dino Riders like me, this is what Dino Riders is.
yeah. So it's pretty cool. Um, like I said, every kid loves dinosaurs, and then attach guns to lasers and things to dinosaurs, and pretty cool.
Here you go. Here's a Dino
So
Riders figure. I mean, I'm not sure if this is. This looks like it was legit a long
yeah,
time
so
ago.
I guess I was, yeah. So I guess technically there are figures for it, but something more,
Right, like you were talking about.
like I said, more contemporary. And then I guess if I had to give another answer again, I hadn't been able to pick out a specific character from, but something from Elden Ring, which I know we're getting. I think it's a Vike. The figure arts is
Oh, really?
yeah, it's up for pre-order. Um, looks really cool, and I've got that on my pre-order list. Um, but yeah, so anything from Elden
Yeah, here
Ring,
he is. That looks great. That is a good looking figure.
yeah,
Awesome. Vike, there he is. Cool. I've definitely seen this character before. Is this the character you play as?
no, he's one of the other tarnished characters in the game that you actually kind of kill. So
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, great answers because very different from typical answers that we would get. So that's great. Not that any typical answer is not great because my answers are usually those typical answers. Um,
yeah,
one thing that I kind of want new figures of are I want some new Street Sharks figures for sure. I know that people
I
wouldn't.
do remember Street Sharks. Yeah, that was pretty
I
cool.
loved Street Sharks, and for a while I knew that Mattel was coming out with
Yeah,
some Street Sharks, but they did end up coming out with new ones, and they were totally lame. It was just an exclusive thing for a one time thing, and they were really lame.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, it was super disappointing. So much for that.
yeah, yeah.
And Doomslayer is saying figure of myself. You can make one, and Rade Z, you can make one, you guys. Just make one yourself. That's what I did. Pablo was saying he agrees with you. They need some new Dino Riders figures. Mr. Poopin' Farts says he wants an ARC Trooper 5s. Yeah, we don't have 5s yet. We've got Echo. Wait, we've got 5s, don't we? No, we just have Echo. We do have a 5s vintage collection, but not Black Series. And Trippin' with Toy says, I love some articulated figures from the Labyrinth. I'm surprised that doesn't exist yet, actually, to be honest. Like, I feel like NECA would do that for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Charlie.
Yeah, that's some. I need to pick up
Sorry, no.
the
Keep
gargoyles figures, the NECA gargoyles figures.
Oh yeah, those are awesome. They're huge.
Yeah,
The Goliath is so
yes,
big. Yeah, so big.
very cool.
But yeah, those are really good looking figures. Doomslayer, he says Doom Eternal figures. There are some Doom Eternal figures. McFarlane has some, and then there's a Figma one coming. I have my Figma one on pre-order, so there you go.
Yes,
coming.
I do too. He looks awesome.
Oh, you have him on pre-order too? The Doom
Yes.
Figma? Awesome.
Yeah, he looks awesome. Yes.
He was supposed to come out in like May, I think. What the heck? It's always getting pushed back. Always getting pushed back.
I don't know. I can't wait. He looks so awesome. Yeah.
He looks great. All right, so my last question for you, my friend, is where do you see yourself as a toy photographer in 5 years?
Wow. I would really like to see myself. I don't know. I just want to keep improving. I'd like to see myself as more of a content creator later on to help other people pursue the hobby that I've really grown passionate about, and hopefully become a presence at some, I guess I'd say, somewhat local cons, because we don't really have any local ones, but a few hours away. Savannah, Georgia. Uh, that'd be really cool.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a great idea. But going to like at a convention or something and having like a little like a table is so fun, and so many people that will come up to you will have no idea what toy photography is. So you just get to explain and show them
Yeah.
what it is. It's just so cool. It's so cool. But that's great. That's a great answer. I can't wait to see your stuff in 5 years, and just keep like at the rate that you're improving right now. Holy crap, dude! Like, you haven't even been doing this a year yet. Your photos are like 10 times beyond anywhere I could have hoped to have been years after I was doing photos, and I'm being completely serious.
Oh man, I honestly probably not gonna say I never would have started, but you were a lot of the fuel that really got me into it. Just seeing some of your pictures was really cool,
That's amazing.
and then the community
Thanks,
we
man.
created has really helped out.
Same. Yeah, community has helped me out like crazy, and we all help each other out. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, awesome. Charlie, dude, thank you so much for everything. Thanks for being on with me, and thanks for these fantastic the tips given us all, and just thanks for being you, dude. Just keep doing everything you're doing. Any last
Man,
plugs?
thanks for
or
having me.
anything you
I
wanna...
enjoyed it.
Awesome. Do you have any last plugs or anything you wanna talk about?
No, just if you'd rather use Facebook over Instagram, I do have a Facebook. It's Resolute Running Toy Photography. Check me out on there. I just really just repost. I just post it to Facebook the same time I post it to Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you're probably already seeing it. But I just that's it.
Sounds good. All right, Charlie.
Oh well, I do need to do one more shout out again.
Yes.
I've kind of poked at it, but my wife is a huge inspiration, huge uh, helper and aid in what I do, and none of my stuff would be what it is without her. So thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. She sounds awesome. She sounds great and super
She is.
supportive. She went
Very
into the
much.
pond barefoot for a toy photo for you. That's amazing.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Sounds great. Sounds awesome. So again, thank you so much for being on here, dude. Everyone who's been watching, thanks for watching. Thanks for giving all such great stuff in the live chat. Everyone's awesome. So have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. I'll see you guys on Friday for the floating challenge stream. It's gonna be great. So yeah, see you guys then. Bye.
Thanks.